Welcome everybody, Chef Casey here. Welcome you all back to season 3 of Recipes from a Patwin Kitchen. Standing here at the beautiful Seca Hills Olive Mill in Brooks, California. For my first recipe, this is gonna be a tribute to a wild rice salad. It's also gonna have some smoked trout. For today, I'm gonna use a beautiful California wild rice. It's a black wild rice. So first, we gotta cook our rice. I like to cook my wild rice like pasta. So I'll have hot water going. I'll do a little bit of salt, right? Just a rapid boil. I'll throw in a little bit of olive oil. I like to use our Arborquina here from Seca Hills. It's one of the best in the valley. So now you have your salted, oiled water. Usually I just I'll put the rice right into it. Let's do about a cup. Cup goes in. You can feel free to cover it if you like, or you can just let it roll at a simmer. This rice is gonna take about 45 to an hour cook time. So while our rice is cooking, let's start building our smoked trout cake. So the trout cake's very simple. So what you need to do for the smoking version, how I did it, is you take your raw trout, make sure they're cleaned, all filleted out, beautiful trout. I'll do a little bit of salt in the middle. Get the trout nice and seasoned. And as you can see, as it smokes, you want that cavity to be open. You want all that smoke to come through the trout. And the way to do that is just to put a couple toothpicks and just keep the cavity open. And you would just have it like this, kind of lay it on your smoker. If you had a cookie sheet or a rack, you could put on a smoker. I smoked mine at 195 for about 4 hours. So now our trout is done. It should kind of look nice and smoked. Flesh should be trying to peel out, and it should resemble a beautiful fillet. Nice and golden brown. Beautiful trout. And this is going to be our starter to our smoked trout cake. So let's start with our potato. This is going to help bind your trout together. Just do a little bit. See how it goes. Take your trout, and you just kind of want to break it apart. You want nice big pieces, because eventually you're going to mash it together with the potato. Now we can do a little salt, pepper. For this one, I am going to use an egg, just to give it one more little extra adhesive to it. We can go ahead and get some herbs. I got beautiful herbs here. Definitely chive. I'd like to see maybe a little bit of thyme, a little parsley, and then a little bit of basil. Right into the mixture. So instead of getting your hands dirty, I like to get a fork and just kind of mix it with the fork, right? Make sure that egg's cracked. I'm gonna use a little bit of cornmeal for a dusting. I have a little Bloody Butcher cornmeal. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna dust my hands with some of the Bloody Butcher cornmeal, and I'm gonna start forming the cakes. You kind of roll into a ball, flatten out. Let's get more cornmeal down. We have our trout cakes resting beautifully on the board. Get your pan nice and hot. Again, I'm gonna use our Seca Hills Arborquina olive oil. It's my go-to oil. I use it in everything in my kitchen. I bake with it, I cook with it. Anytime there's a fat that's needed in my kitchen, I'm usually pulling the olive oil out, especially the Seca Hills. There's a little trick to seeing how hot your oil is. I'll show you. You can take a little bit of cornmeal. You can dust your oil. If it starts to pop a little bit, if it gets a little bubbly, then you know your kind of oil's ready to go. Let's get our first cakes on. And you can hear that sizzle. So if there's not enough room around the trout cake for the heat to come around, it's gonna start steaming itself, and you don't want that. You can give them one more turn, then I'm gonna turn my pan off and just let it kind of naturally warm throughout the cake. So as they're cooking, we can kind of look at our salad. We could take our beautiful wild rice that we've just cooked off. You can see how it's opened up, it's sprouted. It's a beautiful rice. I'm gonna do a little of our elderberry balsamic, make a quick little salad dressing. A little sweetness, a little more of our Arborquina. Give this a quick stir. Make sure everything's incorporated, a little more salt. Do a little more pepper. I'm gonna add some local blueberries. We'll add a little bit of corn. Throw some carrots in here. And a little bit of rutabaga. Let's do a little parsley. And we can do a little bit of rosemary. You want to get that rosemary nice and chopped, nice and fine. And another tip with rosemary is a little bit goes a long way. So now that you have your salad assembled, you have all your ingredients in there. Again, give it a nice stir. Salad smells great. So now we can go ahead and plate this. So let's start getting our trout cakes on. And while this is resting, we can make a quick herb dressing. I'm gonna use our elderberry, a little bit of elderberry balsamic. Let's use a little arbequina. We'll take some herbs, probably do more parsley, do chive, and we'll do some basil. And we're just gonna chop all this up nice and fine. If you wanted to add a little chili flake to it, you could kind of spice it up a little bit, which I'm going to do. Maybe a little salt, and we just stir. We could take our mixture and just right over the top of that trout. And then I'll finish with a little micro cilantro. And there you have it. Smoked trout cake with a wild rice forage salad. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Chef Casey here. Can't wait to see you next time. Thank you.